Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. Hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far. As you can tell, we're on the road for the upcoming days on the laptop here. That does not mean, however, there isn't plenty to discuss. The CDL has come out and confirmed the entire season format for the 2023 season, but some have also noted Domination might be returning as the third game mode this year. Very much enjoyed your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you are new as always. I'd greatly appreciate it. Plenty to discuss. I'll talk the Boston announcement actually for you guys tomorrow because, as I say, there's a lot to get into today. We'll do Boston tomorrow. Firstly, this quickly from the London Royal Ravens confirming that Dominate is returning as their head coach for the season. There's been lots of drama and talk about all the different coaching staffs that are going everywhere right now, but London are sticking to their guns. Of course, Shane left, I guess, well, maybe did he leave or he got kicked? Not really sure, but he was with London. Now he's gone to Los Angeles Thieves, and they've obviously given him a lot of credit for their results at the end of last season. This unfortunate news, I don't know why this has been postponed. Maybe it's something to do with what's going on in the Valorant side, and definitely stay tuned for a video I've got coming on my Valorant channel in a few minutes time if you guys are interested in that, because chaos is hitting the fan over there. They're franchising now Valorant, just effectively franchising like the CDL did a few years ago, and it's an absolute mess to be perfectly honest. So anyway, regardless of what's going on the OpTic side at the moment, the Cold War throwback has been postponed, so you know, this kind of unfortunate. Not sure if Hitch maybe couldn't get the numbers for it in time or whatever. It was meant to be tomorrow night, I believe, so hopefully in due course the Cold War throwback can indeed make its return. Now, before we talk about the Domination stuff, just to mention the CDL, as they often do, did an announcement, or at least prepared an announcement, where they would discuss a new era, as they describe it, of the Call of Duty League, the announcement of the new season. We're going to dive into that here in a second, and everything that came along with it, because definitely some really positive signs, but yeah, not all positive signs on the day, it must be said, just because of this. The Xbox kind of beta, people have actually got into it and made it work already, where they can find, if you look at the top of the menus here, standard modes, alternate modes, Call of Duty League. So pretty cool stuff. They've got COD League in the game already. Like, no, okay, great stuff. Now, in fairness, I think they've had this in quite a few games at this point, and I'm pretty sure we've been able to see something like this in early builds of the game before. Having seen it this early, though, into the beta is maybe like, you know, look, this could be a bad sign. This could also be a good sign, in the sense that I don't know how often in the past we've actually seen at Call of Duty League, like settings and stuff, ready to go for the beta build of the game. But of course, we know the beta is pretty much just a preview demo of the real thing. Now, well, as you can see, Domination, Search and Destroy Hardpoint. Domination being the key one, right? Because we know Dom's in the game. We believe CTF as a game mode is also either in the game or getting ready to go in the game. Search and Hardpoint, of course, they're going to be the other two modes on whatever 8 hardpoints they have us running around to on some of these maps. But yeah, Domination is honestly the bane of a lot of people's existence. It's one of those game modes to Modern Warfare 2019 that, you know, I don't really know if anyone actually liked it. The pros certainly hated it. I don't think the fans liked it either, in large part, especially compared to Control, Capture the Flag, Uplink even, which is, you know, obviously such a great mode in the jetpack era. But yeah, Domination is pretty much the worst possible game mode you could have as the third game mode, in my opinion, at the very least. It played awful. It was largely awful to watch. The frustrating part as well, watching these guys, like the game would be over and you'd still have to keep watching it for so long. The amount of times I would just pause the stream, go off, do something else, come back 10 minutes later. Even if a team was up 2-0 and they were about to 3-0, I would prefer just to find out that news after the fact than have to suffer through 10 minutes of Domination. So like, yes, hopefully this game mode doesn't return, but you know, we know what Infinity Ward were like. They forced it on us. Maybe they didn't force it on us, but there was no better alternative, let's just say, 3 years ago in Modern Warfare 2019. So now some are concerned we're going back to the similar path and Domination is coming back yet again. So hopefully it doesn't. It's not guaranteed, right? Because we have seen in previous iterations of the game, this for example in Vanguard last year when CDL Domination was a mode, but also CDL Control was a mode on this screen, as you guys can see, which I suppose would at the time be a slightly more positive sign. But of course, back then, like at this point in the game, in the beta, we don't really have Control actually in the game yet. We don't probably have Capture the Flag in the game yet, right? So that maybe if they were just testing out the menus for the COD League, I guess Infinity Ward thought, you know, we'll chuck Domination there, but maybe they haven't watched competitive or even at all for the last couple of years, and they still think Domination is the standard go-to for a competitive third game mode. We shall see. Hopefully CTF is viable. I think I would quite like to see that return. Control, in my opinion, is always kind of going to be like a standard good enough game mode that can be played, but it might not be the absolute best third game mode if CTF is good on good maps. But I don't really have too much faith these maps, and the spawns especially would play well for Capture the Flag. But look, as far as I'm concerned, anything but Domination, and everyone was talking about it, of course, on Twitter as well. So what do you guys think about this? What is the likelihood that you see it, that Domination actually returns this season? Would you put it past Infinity Ward, or do you think the pros will get their point across? Because because, like, they don't want to play Domination, the fans don't want to see Domination, surely they can have another game mode in the game. And we saw, of course, in Vanguard, right, there wasn't even a third game mode for a large part even after the game launched. It was Hardpoint, it was Search and Destroy. The early tournaments in Vanguard, they had to play, like, Hardpoint, Search, Hardpoint, Search or something. They were doing, like, an entire series with just Hardpoint and Search and Destroy because there was no viable third game mode. Control hadn't even arrived into the game yet. Took until, like, January to actually arrive. And that is a relevant factor, actually, when we talk about the CDL launching earlier here in a second, that, you know, can they actually put in a viable third game mode by the time the CDL launches, given the fact that they usually have another month and a half to achieve that, and even last year it was getting a bit touch and go, right? So, yes, OpTic Text is wondering what should be the third mode. I would like to see CTF back personally. I think the maps can maybe work for it better this year than they did back in Modern Warfare 2019, based on what we have seen so far, but still might not be great, but, you know, it's got to be better than Domination. That at least is my perspective, and I'm sure those of you who watched Modern Warfare 2019 will probably agree with that sentiment. Now, of course, is this an overreaction, right? You could say, look, it's not 100% locked yet, it's not guaranteed, so yes, I suppose we've got to keep our hopes up for that one. And even as Chino says, right, in the CDL game mode list, it's quite often there every year, but it doesn't mean we'll be playing it, right? So hopefully the pros get their thoughts across, but also it depends in large part on what the developers have to say. And as I say, with the season starting earlier, it does raise the question as to whether they can actually get it done in time. And let's dive into that stuff then, right? Even I thought this is pretty funny here for the Thaders with CDL Domination. Crone's thinking, okay, do I stay in COD? Do I go? Yep, I'm out of here, baby. So let's dive into the CDL major schedule for 2023. This is pretty much along the lines of what was leaked a little bit ago, but it's still great to see the confirmation come through. So this again is actually in the game itself when it was starting to appear here in Vanguard what the major announcements were going to be upcoming, and we'll see this kind of reflected here in a second. So the CDL come up with their announcement, you asked, we answered. So the main thing really here, which I think is really fantastic news for the scene, is that the season is starting far earlier than it has done in the past. As you can see here, all the comments and people in the community about wanting the season to start earlier, why the break so long. Last year, that really was the real issue with last season, is that, well, not only did the season start super late, there was a kickoff in January, start of the league in February, but also there was like two pretty significant mid-season breaks for really no reason, it seems. One of them was like over a month long pretty much, and the Pro was after it. So like all these breaks really killed momentum, and really CDL like has to capitalize on when the game launches. Like winter, spring, that's the time in general where the CDL gets the best viewership. When you get to the summer, other sports come around, the viewership in general kind of falls off a bit anyway. So I think it makes sense really for them to try and load the season a bit earlier. I would still like the season to be longer than it currently is, but I think that if I had to take either a late season start and a later season finish, or an early season start, earlier finish, I'd take the latter, because getting the season underway quickly is paramount to capitalizing on any of the initial hype around the game, especially if League play and stuff launches around a similar time. Like, it's good stuff. So anyway, December the 2nd is the date. This is the earliest the league has begun in a long period of time. I'm even thinking back to even Black Ops 4. The first event was on December the 7th, I believe, that season, and that game launched on October the 25th. Even in years prior to that, yes, there were some like other tournaments in the pre-CDL era and the pre-CWL era at times, I suppose, as well, but this is pretty much the earliest the league has ever started, and that is going to be on December the 2nd is when the first qualifiers begin. So yes, December the 2nd, 2022, and actually Major 1, which is 2 weeks after. So there's 2 weekends of qualifiers. Either, I don't know if the pros play in those, or because all the pros get invited to the first tournament. I'm guessing they do play to some degree in those, but also the Challengers players must be playing other things as well to determine who's actually going to get to go to the Pro-Am. So there is a Pro-Am event at Major 1 in Raleigh, actually, which is pretty cool stuff. They host a lot of, like, it's actually a pretty legendary esports venue. There's been a lot of classic events in Raleigh over the years, and Halo quite likes it as a venue as well. So cool that we're going there. It's kind of like a league hosted event rather than a CDL hosted event, or rather than a city hosted event, right? And they've also got a Challengers Open there for all the teams that don't qualify for the Pro-Am. So I guess 4 teams will qualify like we had last year mid-season. Then there's also a Call of Duty Endowment Bowl, pretty cool stuff. And then the COD Mobile World Championship is going on at the same time. So this is done on LAN. So I guess that's pretty cool stuff as well. And hopefully the developers watch this and say, damn, they've got some really good maps. Firing range, you know, standoff raid. I don't know what they play on, but I'm sure they play on all the best maps in COD history. And hopefully they can figure out a way to maybe try and do a similar thing going forwards as well. Now, this is the other part of it, right? So as they say, December 15th through to the 18th, the first event in Raleigh, North Carolina, Major 1, and it doesn't stop there. So there's the other things going alongside it. Now, this also does give out pro points, right? Which was a key complaint really about last year's Pro-Am Classic. There were no pro points on the line. New York Subliners won it, or they won a LAN event with all the 12 teams there, plus 4 amateur teams, and they got 0 pro points to put towards their World Championship qualification. That really shouldn't have been a thing. Now, thankfully, there are pro points for this Major 1, so the start of the season already is pretty key. If you win this, you've already got a great head start on your competition in terms of World Championship qualification. And last year, of course, there were just 4 majors. This year, thankfully, there are going to be 5, and OpTic are going to be one of them. So OpTic got a major last year, of course, Major 1, great event. They're going to get another one here at Major 3. Now, I get why the CDL's doing this, and also I believe, like, the teams have to apply for majors to do one, and then the CDL accepts them or not. Now, like, look, OpTic are OpTic, right? They're probably going to get one every year if they want one, right? That is understandable, and New York Subliners last year probably did the best job of any organization in putting one together. Like, that New York major was fantastic, so they're getting another chance as well at Major 4 again. So Raleigh Major 1, Boston is Major 2, so pretty cool stuff that Boston gets to host one. Definitely an organization, I think, fitting of doing exactly that. They've done some great things this past season, so good for Boston, I think. They're there in Major 2, OpTic Major 3, Major 4 is the New York Subliners, and Major 5 is coming soon. We don't know yet, and we don't know Champs, but Champs, I can tell you, 99% confident it's going to be in Los Angeles. They just love it out there. Like, as much as we want Champs in London, I just don't see it happening personally. So, of course, that really leaves Major 5 as the only possibility for us UK boys, or just European fans in general, to actually have an event in Europe, because, but I saw the kind of leaked schedule. I don't have it on my laptop. I have it actually on my PC, but not on this device. And I saw like a leaked version of the schedule a while ago, which had Boston, OpTic, New York as 2, 3, 4. And there was one team that was penciled in for Major 5 that I guess it might have been announced here, but they obviously, like, they maybe haven't certified it yet. But that team was not London. I'm absolutely sure of that. So maybe it's changed, right, and London is now coming through. But as it stands, and to my understanding, London will not be hosting Major 5, and I doubt they're going to be hosting the World Championship. So to me, that is kind of like the downside here. Is it's unfortunate, really. And other cities have had this, right, but they haven't had an event in a very long period of time. But, you know, for the entirety of the UK to not have had an event since 2020, and now it's going to be until 2024, at least until we get another one, it's kind of unfortunate. So yeah, that's frustrating. I'm going to have to get out to at least 1 or 2 of their events in North America next season for sure. But yes, that is the big announcement of the day, right? So the season begins earlier. That's a good thing. The concern for me is hopefully there's something else ready for Domination, and also the fact that Champs will probably be rather early, June 2023 we might expect. So look, they obviously are really gassing up the idea, and for good reason, in fairness. They're bringing the season start date earlier, but like, does that necessarily mean the season is longer, as I think it should be? Might not, right? They might just start earlier, finish much earlier, and still have a very lengthy off-season, and it's only this year where we have the short off-season, and next year the off-season goes from July to November again, and if anything, the off-season is even longer next year than it might have been this season, let's just say. So we'll see about that one. Of course, there are some possibilities to do something else during that period of when, like, let's say, well, Champs does end in June next year, as the rumour has it presently is, but that hasn't been confirmed in the CDL's announcement thus far. There could be, like, you know, proving grounds, AM scouting, some sort of World Cup, old school Champs style event or whatever that they could potentially run, like, you know, into the season 2. So I think they'll have some good ideas. I'm sure they won't just have like a 5 months off season, but still, I think some positive news in general on the day. Very much enjoyed your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you are new. Take care, and I'll see you next time.